Welcome to Flexion Cloud Orchestrator, the mature, reliable, and feature-rich software platform for cloud infrastructure management. In this video, we will show you the power of infrastructure blueprints. Our infrastructure blueprints deliver the unique ability to create, store, and share templates of application-ready environments, which span across multiple servers and networks. Using our one-click deploy capability, all tasks are automated and repeatable with minimum effort, making it quicker and easier for your cloud services to be consumed. To create a blueprint, you simply go to Blueprint. Click this button, give it a name, and you're good to go. Now, start designing your blueprint to reflect your application requirements using our drag and drop tool. This designer allows you to add resources to a blueprint simply by clicking on these icons, each of which represents a resource type. For example, clicking twice on the server button will start drawing the infrastructure topology, automatically taking into account all required dependencies, such as cluster, data center, network, and disks. On the right hand of the designer is where you can configure the server's attributes. Let's name it Web Server. Then, pick a server configuration. Like many of the other blueprint attributes, server configurations can either be statically defined within the blueprint or left as Choose on Deployment. In other words, when you take the blueprint and build actual infrastructure from it. For this web server, let's select the micro configuration, which has 1 CPU and 1 GB of RAM. You can also choose an image. Let's choose WordPress. Or click this button for Advanced Configuration Attributes. As your blueprint grows in size, you can click here to go full screen. Let's get your second server to act as a load balancer, selecting the HA proxy image. You can add a third server, which is going to act as your database. For this, choose a larger configuration. You can also leave the image as Choose on Deployment if you are not yet ready to decide which database to power your backend. In this database, let's also add a secondary disk for data partition. Another cool thing about this feature is that it also allows you to template the network configuration. By default, these 3 servers are connected to a public network. But let's say you want to secure the dialogue between the web server and the database on a private network. To do this, first click on this icon to bring up a new network. You can either use an existing network or you can tell the blueprint to create a new one at deployment time. Simply give it a name, Private Database, and make sure it's set to private. You now need to place the right server to this new network. This is as easy as dragging and dropping the link between the server network interface and the network itself. You need to do the same for the web server after adding an extra network interface. And that's it. The blueprint is ready, and you can now save it, share it, or deploy it. Before doing that, here is another cool feature of infrastructure blueprints. Let's say you want to make sure the database doesn't come up with the default admin password, but that you want to customize it for every deployment. First, create a key here. Let's call it dbadminpassword. And give it a default value of Change Me. In the Deployment Questions section, you can set up your blueprint to ask the question, what admin password do you want to set for the database at the point at which the server will be deployed? Flexion Cloud Orchestrator will store the answer given as a specific value for the DB admin password key, which can then be read when the database is deployed to configure the password accordingly. Let's now see how the deployment of a blueprint works in practice. To deploy your blueprint, you simply need this click. You'll be asked to make some final choices like the deployment name, for example, My Website, and all those attributes that earlier on you left as Choose on Deployment. In this case, you need to choose the image for the database server, which we now set to MySQL 5.6. Finally, answer the deployment question about your chosen database password. Let's go for Flexient. This answer will now be set as the value of the key dbadminpassword and will be available to all deployed servers, including the database, via the metadata service. Servers can use Bootstrap scripts to read this value to automatically configure the applications they're hosting. In this example, to configure the database admin password for this specific deployment. The Confirm button kicks off the building of the infrastructure from the blueprint as defined in its specification. As the deployment completes, we can then manage it as a single resource, see our design topology, and do simple things like starting or stopping all the servers at once. Infrastructure Blueprints is a powerful feature to automate the great functions of Flexient Cloud Orchestrator. You can either empower your customers with this tool, or use it yourself to create off-the-shelf app stacks to differentiate and monetize your cloud services. Thank you for watching. Now, take a look at our other videos and discover how Flexient Cloud Orchestrator can help you create a cloud service business your customers will love.